I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word SHOW to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word SHOW, S-H-O-W, to 33777. Text SHOW to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 2.
My fellow Americans, it is Eric Erickson here. I'm delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. For those of you in Georgia, there's some breaking news for you. The New York Times has just listed Alpharetta, Georgia, as the number 1 U.S. small city for big careers due to its high salary, strong job market, and quality of life. It is a lie. It is disinformation. If you are listening to me nationwide, stay away from Alpharetta. You do not want to go to Alpharetta. Stay well away from Alpharetta, Georgia. Don't come anywhere near it. No, it is a lie. Do not believe the nice things about Alpharetta. Don't believe them. Don't even come look at the city. Stay as far away from it as possible. It's not that they're wrong, but do you know what you will do to the traffic if you show up in Alpharetta? Please stop. Pretend it doesn't exist. Come nowhere near that city. I would like to be able to still walk into restaurants in Alpharetta without you piles of other people piling into the state in search of high-paying jobs and downtown Alpharetta and the taste of Alpharetta. Stay away. The taste of Alpharetta does not exist. It's not a thing. You know nothing about it. You don't want to experience it. It's not good. The people are very nasty there. Very, very nasty there. You don't want to be in Alpharetta. Because it's awesome. I don't want any more people there. I love that place. Now, the phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. We've got to talk about this scandal. This is from Axios. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and some of his rank-and-file members are articulating increasingly discordant ideas of what due process looks like for Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick of Florida. Those divisions could spill out into public view very soon, with Cherfilus-McCormick, who has denied all wrongdoing, set to face a public House Ethics Committee hearing Thursday. Some Democrats are prepared to call for Cherfilus-McCormick to resign or be expelled as soon as the House Ethics Committee makes its determination. But Jeffries and his leadership team have signaled they will continue to defend her until the resolution of her federal criminal trial, which starts on April 20th and could go much longer. The divergence has stoked internal tensions. People have an issue on all sides and no one's comfortable, says one senior House Democrat. In a closed-door House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday, Jeffries noted the Ethics Committee often pauses its investigations while a federal prosecution into the same matter is ongoing. Jeffries said it's not normal to have the Ethics Committee meeting before the criminal trial, that normally the Department of Justice asks for that to be postponed until after the trial. Jeffries has said much the same in public, telling Punchbowl News this week Sheila has been charged by this Department of Justice. She is entitled to her day in court. You see the implication there, this Department of Justice, so this is politically motivated by Trump. House Democratic Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar of California said at his press conference, quote, "In the past, the DOJ has asked the Ethics Committee to stand down. That wasn't done here. You have to ask them why." The nature of the allegations against Cherfilus-McCormick is of such an explosive and sensitive nature, some Democrats want to eject her sooner rather than later. She is accused by the United States Congress's Ethics Committee and by the United States Department of Justice in a federal indictment of laundering a $5 million FEMA overpayment to her family's health care company and using it to fund her congressional campaign. Additional allegations include tax fraud and campaign finance violations. She faces up to 53 years in prison if convicted. Outside lawyers not connected to the Department of Justice have reviewed the evidence in this case, and they think it's a pretty damning indictment against this woman. She's denied the allegations. She's trying to claim this is an attack by the Trump administration. Now, let's go to George Santos. George Santos was not convicted by the federal government of a crime when the House voted to expel him. Democrats and Republicans came together and said his conduct is unacceptable based on the House Ethics Committee investigation. It was pretty clear he had done something wrong, and they booted him. They didn't wait for guilty finding by federal court. And the Democrats told everyone that this was the way it needed to happen. This is what needed to be done. The Democrats said this was the right thing to do, that you shouldn't have to wait for a federal investigation when the House Ethics Committee itself had found fault from George Santos. It was very clear that Santos had broken the law. But now that it's a Democrat, the Democrats are like, no, we got to wait for the federal trial. We got to wait. It could take a year. And the reason is very simple. The Democrats were fine whittling away the House majority for the Republicans, but they don't want to risk a decrease in their numbers. It's 217 to 214 right now. 217 to 214. Here's the problem with this. There is growing radicalization on both sides of the aisle. I mean, let's just be honest here. Neither side wants to live up to its own ethical standards that it expects the other side to live up to. And we have a situation where increasingly Republicans are like, why should we be the nice guys? Why should we play by the rules if Democrats aren't going to play by the rules? Why should we stand up if they can't stand up? So what you're going to have happen over time, and it's pretty obvious, is that you're not going to have any more ethical standards in the House of Representatives or the Senate for that matter. If it all comes down to your vote share, it becomes a problem. Let's just look at the Senate. Remember when the Senate was basically 50-50? The Republicans did this once, the Democrats did this once, where you had someone in the majority had ethical problems, and they were like, nope, we're not going to force this guy out. We would lose control. It's all a power play. It's not about what's right. It's about power. And that's the thing here in this case for the Democrats. But what you will notice that's different and what sets it apart from when George Santos had his ethics problems or when other Republicans have had their ethics problems, it's the relative quiet of the media. There's a story today in Axios about it, but it's because the House Ethics Committee is going to publicly meet tomorrow. But most of the members of the press have been very quiet about the situation, and they've been quiet in large part because they are desperately fearful of the Democrats losing power. They are desperately fearful. Now, what's so interesting is how many Democrats are so curiously quiet. Of the 206 Democrats who voted to oust George Santos, 171 of them are in Congress. Very few of them have said anything. Of the number of Democrats in the majority who they can't be bothered to be honest about this sort of stuff. It's bizarre. Let me just give you the data on this just so you have a fuller picture of this, okay? So Congresswoman Cherfilus-McCormick of Florida is accused of stealing $5 million of FEMA funds, diverting it to fund her campaign. She's also accused of tax fraud. She's going to have a trial in the House Ethics Committee. That's actually unprecedented. Rarely does this happen. Of the 206 Democrats who voted to oust George Santos, 171 of them remain in Congress, including all of the House Democratic leadership who pressured for George Santos to leave before he was convicted of a federal crime. And now those same Democratic leaders refuse to do the same thing for Cherfilus-McCormick. In fact, more than half of the Democrats who voted to oust George Santos before he was convicted of a federal crime are not even commenting and refuse to comment on Cherfilus-McCormick. The Washington Post broke the story January 2026. The New York Times, their last story on this matter, they're the ones who broke the Santos news, keep in mind. The New York Times broke the story on November 2025. The Wall Street Journal, the last time they covered Cherfilus-McCormick was November of 2025. CNN and NBC also last covered it in November of 2025. MS Now has never covered the Cherfilus-McCormick story. She also, by the way, allegedly purchased a huge diamond ring with the stolen funds. And the Ethics Committee is going to convene an adjudicatory subcommittee public hearing for the first time since 2010 to investigate the allegations. They're going to have public testimony. And the Democrats, you should know, on the Ethics Committee are speaking up, saying this is not a good situation. The Democrats on the Ethics Committee and the Republicans on the Ethics Committee are pretty united. It's the House Democratic leaders who are upset about this. So the subcommittee that's going to have a supposed trial, it's going to be sort of a House Ethics Committee trial. There are 27 violations that are being looked at. It's going to be a closed executive session vote, but they're going to allow the evidence to be concluded publicly. The House Ethics Committee could censure her. They could recommend her being ousted. What's just so notable to me is how the Democrats, they're not willing to stand up for what's right now that it's one of the Democrats. It was all performative with George Santos. It's very clear. So you can't expect Republicans in the future to do the right thing, Democrats, if you're not calling for the right thing now. And you can say, by the way, and this is the line from the leadership of the House Democrats, that everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But that wasn't your standard when it was the Republicans. Your standard when it was the Republicans is if the evidence upon review appears to show guilt, that person should be expelled from the House. And in this case, it's the Democrats on the House Ethics Committee say the evidence upon review appears to show guilt. It's the outside lawyers who have looked at the federal case who say the evidence upon review appears to show guilt. It is the House Democratic leadership that has changed their standard, and it's done that because they don't want to lose power. It will set them back in their quest to take the House of Representatives. You're going to have a couple more Republicans coming on board soon from special elections. The Republican margin will grow. The Democrats want it as close as possible, and they want it as close as possible because of the border funding fight. The Democrats know there will be a handful of Republicans who side with them on a war powers resolution. Nancy Mace from South Carolina is essentially demanding we surrender to the Iranians. Nancy Mace says she doesn't want us in the Middle East anymore. She's given up running for governor of South Carolina. Her campaign is in disarray and kind of collapsed because she's a nut job, and now she's angling for a post-congressional TV career. So she wants to now side with the Democrats, go the way of Marjorie Taylor Greene, and get the fawning press coverage from the media for defying Donald Trump and the Republicans. The Democrats will need her. They'll need others like her in order to toe the line. And they got to have Cherfilus-McCormick. They got to have her vote. Who cares about principles? Who cares about right and wrong? It's a power play for the Democrats. So next time some of you get upset when the Republicans do what's right for their power, not what's right for morals and ethics, you just remember the Democrats They pushed the Republicans into doing what was right with George Santos, and now they're saying we're not going to do it with Cherfilus-McCormick, so don't expect the Republicans to reciprocate in the future. But, of course, you and I know the media will savage Republicans in ways they never would Democrats.
Craving the coffee flavor you love, but without the caffeine? Kachava's got you covered with their newest coffee flavor. This all-in-one nutrition shake delivers bold, authentic flavor crafted from premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans. Quality nutrition shouldn't be complicated. Just 2 scoops of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake, and you've got 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. Whether you're craving that coffee taste to kickstart your morning ritual, or as a nutrient-packed reward to round out your afternoon, Kachava keeps you fueled and satisfied wherever your day takes you. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. And for the times you feel like switching it up, you've got 7 flavors to choose from, all with the highest quality ingredients. Treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body craves. Go to Kachava.com and use code NEWS. New customers get 15% off their first order. That's KACHAVA.com, code NEWS.
Welcome back. Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Scott, going to go to you first. Thanks for being patient. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing,
I'm
sir?
Great.
Good. So I'm in the film industry, or I was in the film industry for 40-plus years, all here in Georgia. And so I've spent a lot of time down at Tyler Perry's, paid my dues there. And on Fridays, a lot of times, we would have what you call $5 Friday, sometimes $10 Friday, where everybody in the crew puts in a $5 or $10 bill and gets a ticket with a number on it. Well, Tyler would take the bag and he would count the money and say there was $1,000 that had been collected. Normally, one lucky person would have their number drawn, and they would win $1,000. He would look over at his producer and say, here's the key, run up to my office and get $19,000 more dollars. So that it wasn't just one person winning $1,000, it was 20 people on the crew winning $1,000.
Wow.
And he even went so far one time as to pass out little cards, and with people, a lot of people not being able to drive or not having the money to drive, he said, I'm going to give away a car, put down a crew member's name and why you think they deserve the car. And sure enough, he bought a brand new little Ford vehicle, had it out in the parking lot for one lucky soul. And the next thing we knew, he had so many suggestions, about 6. He looked at his producer again and he said, go buy 5 more cars. And he ended up giving away about a half dozen.
Scott, I have heard these stories over the years. I've never met him. I'm mesmerized by the home he has built here outside of Atlanta. But I hear these stories of generosity. Y'all know, I'm sure y'all know the Medea movies and stuff. Tyler Perry, pretty notable person nationwide. The level of private generosity, people find out, and that's the thing, is, always be a little weary of the people who boast about their generosity. He doesn't. Other people spill the beans on who has showed up at the local grocery store and bought everybody's groceries, and it turns out to be him. Very private in what he does, and it gets exposed. The level of generosity from people out there, just never the kind-heartedness of Americans towards Americans. Regardless of race, creed, religion, ethnicity, just Americans being good to Americans. It's worth remembering there are people like that out there that are they're helping other people. They don't care who they are. Just someone's in need and needs the help, and they help them. God bless them to find out that people are like that. Now, speaking of Old Glory Bank, let me listen. This is not the ad pitch, but I'm going to tell you about it. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. I know some of the people who are involved in Old Glory Bank, and they are the same sort of people, deeply generous people. And there has been a movement in the country now in the last number of years in the study of mental health, particularly of veterans who are homeless. And one of the big issues is helping them get back on their feet and access to bank accounts. And Old Glory Bank has been privately partnering with nonprofits around the country to get bank accounts for homeless veterans because they need somewhere to put benefits. And in many cases, what happens is it's hard for the VA and others to find them to give them their benefits, and they just don't get paid. So Old Glory Bank partners with nonprofits to help veterans. It's one of the many acts of kindness they do. It costs them money. They're not making money off of this. They waive fees for first responders and active duty military. It's just the kind-heartedness of the people who work there. They're great people. OldGloryBank.com/Eric if you want to find out more. They are my bank. I've got a checking and savings account with them. OldGloryBank.com/ERICK. Great people. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, family, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I have news for you. I have great news for you. Hang on a second. Hang on. Oh, that's a terrible setup. Let's do this again for posterity. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I have brilliant news for all of us. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh, witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Wake up the sleepyhead. Have your eyes get out of bed. Wake up, the wicked witch is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, the Surgeon General nominee does not have the votes to be confirmed Surgeon General. This would be Casey Means, the witchcraft practicing pagan. Her nomination is stalled. This from PBS News. Actually, this is from the AP. Wellness influencer Dr. Casey Means' nomination to be U.S. Surgeon General is stalled a month after senators of both parties grilled her on vaccines and other health topics during a tense confirmation hearing, deepening doubts about her ability to secure the votes she needs for the role. The nomination has languished despite ongoing efforts from the White House and Make America Healthy Again activists, revealing how intractable rifts over health policy can be, even when Congress has shown deference to President Trump. It's become the latest snag in Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s agenda after two legal setbacks last week. Means a 38-year-old Stanford-educated physician who became disillusioned with traditional medicine and did not finish her surgical residency program has faced scrutiny for her lack of experience and potential conflicts. Another sticking point has been her close alignment with Kennedy, whose efforts to dramatically pull back vaccine recommendations have been slammed by lawmakers and medical groups. To advance to a full Senate vote, Means likely needs every Republican on the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee to support her nomination. But after last month's hearing, two of them, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, told reporters they still had questions for her. Bill Cassidy as well has been concerned. Now, she could still potentially get through, but it's nice that it appears the Senate is recognizing how badly flawed she is. Casey Means is a terrible, terrible pick to be Surgeon General of the United States of America. She has practiced witchcraft. Casey Means has been one of those crystal people, one of those indigenous people. She has channeled the moon. It's bizarre. Let me just read you. These are from her email that she has sent out. I set up this is a woman who wants to be Surgeon General of the United States of America. Her advice to her readers. I set up a small meditation shrine in my house and prayed to photos of my ancestors, asking for support on my personal journey, and wrote mantras and manifestations on small pieces of paper and tucked them around the shrine. Side note, do you know the kids these days are into this whole manifestation crap? If they just will it, it's going to come to be. I just got to manifest it for myself. Good vibes and positive energies. That's witchcraft. I'm sorry, but this manifestation nonsense is like pagan psychobabble. You're not going to manifest your millions of dollars. You know what you're going to do? You're going to get your butt in the street. You're going to go hustle and you're going to go work, and that is how you're going to manifest your life. I've tried to manifest the winning lottery ticket numbers for quite a while with good vibes and chakras, and it doesn't work. By the way, also Jesus himself, I've tried to get him to intervene. It doesn't work. Don't play the lottery, kids. I went to weekly group meditations and spiritual lectures at Self-Realization Fellowship in order to tune in with the Spirit. I worked with a spiritual medium who helped me try to connect with my spirit guides for support and guidance. Witchcraft, condemned in the Bible. I did full moon ceremonies with grounded, powerful women where we called in abundance and let go of what wasn't serving us and amplified each other's dreams. I loved this book, Lunar Abundance. I hiked alone and talked literally out loud to the trees, letting them know I was ready for partnership and asking them if they could help. And the trees were like, crazy lady, the ints don't march that way. I made wishes on heads-up pennies. I made wishes when the clock struck 11:11, and I made wishes on the first star I saw in the night sky. This woman wants to be Surgeon General of the United States, but wait. I pursued visual techniques like the Silva method that helped me see my visions for the future. The Silva method is a pagan nonsense thing where some guy thought his daughter had telekinesis or some such, and you can will objects to move. It's a bunch of hooey. I did plant medicine experiences with trusted guides and wrote extensively about my experience and insights with a little mushroom picture. She did shrooms. This is a woman who wants to be Surgeon General. She talked to trees, did shrooms, aligned herself with the moon and crystals, prayed to her ancestors, and tried to contact the spirit world. This woman wants to be Surgeon General of the United States, and thank God she does not have enough votes. Now, I have been very outspoken on this, and I want you to know. I want you to know, one, she's a quack. But two, we've got this Christian nationalist movement in the United States, and they're all wrapped up in Trump world. In fact, there's this guy named William Wolf. William Wolf is supposedly the executive director of something called the Center for Baptist Leadership, and the best I can tell, it's him and a website. And he gets angry with people, and I finally had enough of his BS, and I called him out. Now every night, I don't know if he's at home drinking or what, but at night he tries to light me on fire. You tweeted this 17 years ago. You said this tweet, repent. It's like, I already have. I wrote a whole book about that tweet, buddy. And what I find remarkable about these people who in this Christian nationalist movement is, we need to elect Christian princes in this country. Some of them out there, like Hitler's a Christian prince, and the others like, no, I don't think so. And they're fracturing. It's a bunch of grift out there. But what I find so mesmerizing about it all is very few, if any, of these people were willing to speak up and say, you know what, we shouldn't have a Wiccan in charge. We're Christian nationalists. The Bible condemns witchcraft. In fact, I did it. And you know what some of the Christian nationalists say? Well, we have a government that tolerates all religions. We can't have literally. I'm not making this up. Some of the Christian nationalists actually told me, well, in our present government, until we win, no religion test. We got to let the Wiccan in. No, you do not have to let the Wiccan in. You don't have to let someone into government who supports child sacrifice. You don't have to let someone into the government who supports talking to trees and aligning with the moon. This Wolf guy who's all over me, calling me a fake Christian, a slob, what have you. He says, I want to be on an island with the Mike Pences of the world. I'd be happy to be on an island with the Mike Pences of the world. Good Christian guy. Prays for my wife regularly. This guy, I don't know that he ever said a word. He's condemned John Piper and Tim Keller and me. He attacked the former president of the Southern Baptist Convention the other day. I don't know that he has spent a single ounce of breath talking about a would-be pagan practicer of witchcraft as Surgeon General. because it's all a political operation. And God forbid you get on the wrong side of Donald Trump. I don't care about being on the right or wrong side of Donald Trump. I care what's true. And what is true is you should not have a quack as Surgeon General of the United States of America, whether it's for religious beliefs or otherwise. She is a quack. She is a flake. She talked to trees and hired a spiritual medium to connect her to the spirit realm, which in and of itself is demonic. And apparently the Ouija board has not been able to conjure the votes for her to get out of committee. Nor has she been able to manifest it. Hey, those of you, and it's the guys. I don't understand why it's the guys. All the bros out there like, dude, bro, I'm going to manifest money for me. Bro, I'm manifesting my job in Lamborghini. Apparently, she can't manifest herself into the Surgeon General's role. Writing notes to the spirits of the shrine of her ancestors hasn't done anything for her. Maybe she watched too much. What was the cute little Pixar movie about the kid who goes to the spirit realm? I can't remember now. It was actually a great Pixar movie. It was like the last good Pixar movie they've made. Maybe she can go to the spirit realm and find out maybe it's the spirit of Robert Byrd or Jesse Helms or Strom Thurmond or someone who's blocking her from being the Surgeon General. Maybe she can do more plant-based medicine and chakra her way into the job. She never should have been Surgeon General. And this is part of the buffoonery around some of those with the president who they come up with these picks for the president. The president does. I doubt he knows Casey Means. I think he spent very little time with her. But someone in the White House said, hey, we've got this Wiccan, this neo-pagan witchcraft practitioner who would be a great Surgeon General, Mr. President. You should make it happen. He says, okay. They left out the practitioner of witchcraft. I'm sure he had no idea. And thankfully, the system in the Senate is working. There is no reason for this woman to be Surgeon General. She's not qualified. She hasn't actually really practiced medicine. She abandoned her residency. She's an MD who doesn't have any patients. What she has is a bunch of pseudo-psychobabble beliefs. We've already got enough problems. I saw the other day, it went viral. I thought it was very funny. And it turns out it's from 2020. A tweet from a Maha influencer, the Make America Healthy Again influencer. I'm not making this up. This person tweeted. I'm paraphrasing, but this was the tweet. Instead of vaccines, why can't we expose people to weak strains of bacteria so that they build up antibodies? Instead of vaccines, why can't we expose people to weak strains of bacteria so they can build up antibodies? That was the tweet. Do you know what a vaccine is? In most cases, in a traditional vaccine, you are exposed to a weak version of a bacterial infectious strain so that your body can build up antibodies. I remember my oldest sister probably listening to me right now. She'll remember when we went to Dubai as kids, we had to go every week to get more shots. We had to get the yellow fever shots. We had to get the typhoid shots. We had to get the TB shots. We had to get all those shots. And we got the yellow fever shot and all of us turned yellow. It was a weak strain of yellow fever. We had to get them all when I was a kid before we moved to Dubai. And then you had to take the nasty malaria medicine stuff to build up your system. That it was this disgusting sort of chocolate syrups. Oh, it was disgusting. I'm going to gag thinking about it. And it's been almost 45 years since I took it. It's so disgusting. I remember going in. My parents dreaded taking me to the Baton Rouge. What was it? It was the healthcare center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Had to go down there for the public health system to get all the shots because you needed the special shots to go overseas at the time. And I remember I would spread my arms and legs out to try to not make it through the door. My poor father got so many bruises on his legs. Like when we go back to Dubai, I'd wear cowboy boots so I could be abusive to anyone trying to get me on the airplane. And they always won, but I put up a fight every time. My poor father, God bless that man. He is a saint. My mother too. Getting me those shots. Oh, we put up, and the needles were long. Some of these shots, you had like a mile-long needle shoved into a 5-year-old to give you yellow fever. It's how the vaccines work, you idiots. And these people wanted a practitioner of witchcraft. All of these people who claimed to be good Christian warriors kept their mouths shut about this woman or even supported her while they're out attacking actual Christians. Her nomination, it's not happening. Casey Means, she's not been defeated, but her nomination has stalled, and God bless the senators of the United States who continue to stall the nomination. May they do it in perpetuity, that this woman not be foisted on America. She's a public health menace. She should not be the Surgeon General. Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I looked over to take a phone call, and they were gone. They've waited for a while. Sorry for giving up on me, but I can answer the question. The question was, can airports pay the TSA agents directly? And the answer is no. So Elon Musk was willing to write the government a check to cover TSA salaries, and you're prohibited if you're a government employee from being paid your government salary from third-party entities. It's got to come from the government. Now, what the Atlanta airport, LaGuardia in New York can do, what Chicago O'Hare can do, what Orlando International, Miami, they can all do is they can opt into the privatization program that San Francisco opted into, Sanford International and Orlando opted into, and several others, where you go back to hiring private contractors. 24 airports in the nation decided to do that program. The program, to my knowledge, in fact, I had a member of Congress reach out to me yesterday and say it's still an active program. You can still, if you're an airport, apply to get into the program. And essentially what will happen is your TSA employees will be transitioned to the care of a private company that maintains government inspection standards, but then you're paid through that. Now, that entity, for example, right now at San Francisco, the entity, the outside entity, is not getting paid by the government for its services, but that entity is itself paying the TSA agents. So the TSA agents at San Francisco, at Orlando Sanford Airport, not the main airport, the other one, and the 22 other airports, they're all getting paid by the outside contracting companies. The outside contracting companies are not getting paid yet by the government. They will be paid when the government eventually reopens. And those employees are going to work, and those airports are not affected by the shutdown. So your airport in your area, you can pressure your local government to get into the contractor program and out of direct payment by the TSA. Airports and private individuals are not allowed to pay directly TSA agents their salaries. In Elon Musk's case, he was willing to write money to the Treasury, but under federal rules, if you write a general check to the Treasury, it cannot be designated in the way he wanted. And then likewise, the government was worried about Elon Musk's conflicts of interest in government payments, that there could be accusations that they didn't want him or others to have to deal with. So it's not going to work. Congress is going to have to fund TSA. The Democrats are saying they're perfectly happy to leave it shut down until Republicans cave, and the Republicans say, we're not going to cave. You're going to keep it shut down. The Democrats literally want ICE defunded in order to open up TSA. And even John Fetterman, the Democrat, is saying this is unacceptable. It's time to bring him back, and the Democrats don't care. Now, I care about my perfectly snug mattress topper. In fact, I use a sleep app. So I have an Apple Watch, and I wear my Apple Watch at night, and I use an app called Auto Sleep. And look at that. I actually went to bed really late last night. I got 6 hours and 10 minutes of sleep, but my deep sleep was off the charts on my perfectly snug mattress topper. Why? Because it turns on automatically, and it cools me down and heats me up at night to keep my temperature regulated, so I don't wake up in the middle of the night hot. I don't wake up in the middle of the night cold. I'm perfect the entire night through. It's soft and comfortable. It has fans and wires that circulate through it to heat it up, cool it down as you need. It doesn't use water. You don't have to worry about leaks or mildew or a wet mattress. It's not billions of dollars like some of them are really outlandishly priced. Perfectly Snug is the sweet spot. It's comfortable and it works. It does what it says it's going to do, exactly as it says. Go to perfectlysnug.com/Eric. Perfectlysnug.com/ERICK. Save it $280. Perfectlysnug.com/Eric. Get their mattress topper today.